It's time for a bit of a longer album review. So, the Imagine Dragons Loom album, not good. And I'm going to explain why it's not good. So, every Imagine Dragons album just gets worse and worse in my opinion. I have been listening to them since 2013. I'm 16, about to be 16, and I remember Slipknot and Imagine Dragons were like the first two bands I can even remember listening to. Like the first, it's just the first shit I remember. And their first two albums were awesome. Smoke and Mirrors is my album of all time because of how old I was, like when I heard it, the memories it brings to me. And as years went on, the songs started to mean more to me because I started to mature and understand the words a lot more. So the album just followed me for a while, and it's an album of all time. For what the fuck am I yapping about? It's my album, dude. I am what's happening to my brain? It is my album of all time, my favorite album of all time. I don't know if anything could ever change that. My second one would be The Gray Chapter by Slipknot because of when I heard it, the memories I have with it. It's just like a nostalgia thing for me, and I don't know. But then their albums just, I don't know, they just got worse. Like the Evolve was good, but it wasn't the best. You could tell that it was more of trying to get on the radio a lot more with the thunder, whatever. There was some good songs on it though. Next to Me was on it, not on the official album release, but on the deluxe version, Next to Me was on it, which is a beautiful fucking song. I don't really hear anybody ever talking about that song, which it should be talked about more because it is absolutely beautiful. The raw emotion that goes into that song is amazing. But, we go on. Origins, that one was like, whatever. I forget Origins is even a fucking album. It's fine. It's an okay album. But Mercury Act 1/2 was definitely the best album since ever since Smoke and Mirrors. Simply because you could tell there was a lot of raw emotion in a lot of those tracks, such as My Life, or even the song Crushed. The song Crushed was beautiful. I mean, his voice didn't really work on it. It kind of sounded stupid, but lyrically, it was a really, really good song. And there's so many other good ones on Mercury Act 1/2. And it's definitely a slept-on album, but it was really good. There was some, obviously, stinkers on it, like Enemy, or Bones was fine. Bones was cool. I mean, who cares about fucking Bones? There was some stinkers on it. But there was also some really good tracks, like some really good lyrical tracks. And then Loom, their first single for Loom was Eyes Closed, which I thought was awful. I thought it was like, whatever. I listened to it a few times. It's not a bad song to listen to, but when you hear Imagine Dragons Smoke and Mirrors, and you think about that, and then you move up to fucking Eyes Closed, it's like, what the fuck are we doing, Imagine Dragons? You have this big fucking fan base, which they love the shit. I don't know what's going on. I'm part of the fan base. They were like my favorite band for a while because of how much the old music meant to me. But every time they come out with something, it's like it gets worse. I don't understand what's happening. They're like clinging to the radio, and it's annoying. Loom was awful. It was a bad album. There was like a couple okay songs on it. Obviously, music is subjective, but in my opinion, I think the album is awful. Objectively, the album is bad. That all it is just radio hits. You have the lyrics in it are fine, I guess, but what is the music if it doesn't, like, if the motion doesn't match the music? What the fuck's the song for? If someone's talking about killing themselves or something, or being real depressed, but they have like fucking rave music in the back, it's not gonna work. This shit doesn't work. People are gonna be dancing to their cry for help. It just doesn't work. So I think the music is bad. I think the new music is bad. The song Nice to Meet You, who the fuck even thought that was a good idea? Dan, what are you doing? buddy, you gotta step your game up. This motherfucker has talent. He can play instruments. I think he has a good voice sometimes. Sometimes it gets annoying. A lot of people's voices are like that, though. I think he has so much talent, but it's being wasted on this bad music that they're coming out with. The song, what the fuck's the one that they did for the game that came out? Children of the Sky? When I heard that, I was like, what the fuck is this? This isn't the Imagine Dragons I know. What's happening? What's happening to Imagine Dragons? Anyways, they're not good anymore, and I really hope that changes, because I really love Imagine Dragons' old stuff. Their first 3 albums were like the shit to me, and especially Smoke and Mirrors. Smoke and Mirrors means a lot to me, and I don't know. It hurts me to see Imagine Dragons go down this route, because, you know, I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like the new music. I mean, obviously it's for some people. Music is very subjective, but it's not for me. So if you like it, that's okay. I don't think you're stupid for liking it or anything. And even if I did, my opinion does not matter. I'm just here yapping about how I feel about things. It's okay if you don't feel the same. I give the album probably about a 4.5 out of 10. I really hope their next album is different. And also, we're about to get a little political for a second. Obviously, I don't like talking about politics because it's stupid, and if I'm not old enough to vote, why the fuck would I talk about it? But I saw something with Surge from System of a Down and Imagine Dragons. So Surge was getting upset at Dan or Imagine Dragons because they were about to perform. I don't even remember the country or whatever. I don't remember in my head, but people, you'll know what the fuck I'm talking about. Surge was getting upset for Dan performing in a certain country that has been, like, starving another country or hurting another country or some shit like that. And he said, Dan, Imagine Dragons are awful, horrible human beings because they did that, which I think is dumb. I like System of a Down, but I think when you start bringing politics into music, it's kind of stinky. I don't think you should ever do that. Yeah, I just don't think you should ever do that. And Dan made a good point. I mean, Surge made very good points also, but Dan made a good point too. You know, you can't deprive your audience from music they love, their favorite band. You can't take that away from them from the actions of somebody's government or somebody's president or whatever the fuck it's called in different countries. You know, you can't just do that. You know, that's bad. That's mean. But then, you know, Surge made good points. Would he perform in Nazi Germany? Who the fuck knows? I mean, I think that they both made very good points, but I think politics needs to stay out of stuff like that because, you know, if it's not needed, it's not needed shit. And, I don't know. But Loom is bad, and I think Surge was a little wrong in that situation. God bless.